Hello and welcome to The Drug Trip. This channel is here to feed the curiosity of those who would like to gain an insight to the effects of various drugs and substances through user experiences and stories, with our main goal being to entertain and reduce harm and abuse. We post regular trip reports every few days, so if you do enjoy these, we would really appreciate it if you subscribed. And more importantly, we love to hear our viewers' thoughts, opinions and experiences, so please leave something for us in the comment section and we may use it in a future video. Enjoy and be safe. It was my freshman year of college. I had already been smoking pot for over a year, and I had tried 2CI and coke before. Me and my friends got together one day and decided to all do shrooms. All but one of us had done them before. And so we decided to do only a half-eighth each. They were double-capped shrooms, and supposedly really potent. We ate them straight up, and mixed some of it with water to get some of the powder down. After consumption, our friend that had done it before suggested that we smoked some pot. So we did, and we all smoked. We stayed inside our dorm room the entire time, and I began to feel the effects after only 15 minutes. After about an hour, I was beginning to hallucinate, and at this point in time, I had already smoked around 6 to 8 bowls of pot, thinking that everyone there was smoking, but I was actually unaware that I had smoked around twice as much as everyone else, and I was beginning to see some light patterns and changing colours, but nothing too extreme. I was also laughing somewhat weirdly, not out of control, but almost in a creepy manner. I felt almost embarrassed of the way I was laughing, and at some point, although I don't remember, I changed my seat to a chair in the middle of the room. I don't really remember much of what happened when I was sitting there. And anyway, my friends all decided to go outside, but when they told me to come with them, I was too scared to go. I just wanted to stay inside and calm down. But they insisted that I go outside with them. When my best friend grabbed my hand to pull me outside, I had a seizure, so I'm told, although I don't remember it happening. All I knew at the time was that I was sitting in the chair, not wanting to leave, and in the next second I was on the floor, convulsing. And when I opened my eyes on the floor, everybody there, around 6 people, were all just freaking out. I couldn't even really make sense of what was going on. I felt as if I was in a different world, watching a TV that was the view of my own eyes. It was a very weird feeling. It was like this for around 5 minutes or so, and I was just asking people what was going on and what had happened. Then, all of a sudden, I felt much better. But I knew something was not right, so I stood up and started demanding if there was a sober person, and that I needed a sober person to come and help. In my mind, a sober person was the saviour, someone who knew what was happening, almost like a doctor. My neck was stiff and I felt really tired, and I decided it would be best for me just to lay down in my bed and try and calm myself. When I laid in bed, I looked at the ceiling and was having some minor hallucinations. I made everyone leave the room except for my best friend, who was also on shrooms at the time, but I had believed he was sober. I just wanted the trip to end, and I was feeling really sick, so I just closed my eyes and went to sleep. Around half an hour later, I woke up. When I woke up, I didn't have any idea where I was, or what was going on, or even who I was. I would look at my clock and see the time, but was not able to know exactly what that meant. My friend was in there waiting for me, and I would ask him questions repeatedly, such as, "What time is it? Where am I? What happened?" and "I am dying." I think he was answering, but I didn't hear him, or if I did, I didn't understand exactly what he meant. I really did feel as if I was dead, or at least that I was in the process of dying. My entire life was just going through my head so fast, but I couldn't recognise any of it. I had completely forgotten of the prior events. I felt as if I was in a different dimension, I knew everything beforehand, such as that they were going to take the shrooms, but I didn't remember taking them. I would ask if we had taken them, how long ago, etc. But when I got the answers, I just couldn't comprehend them. I'm not sure long how this period lasted. I don't really remember the details, but it felt like hours, and at some point I fell asleep again. And when I woke up, approximately 3 hours after taking the shrooms, I was completely sober, and I remember the entire night's experiences, the entire trip, as I said, about 3 hours, but what had felt like almost an entire day. I met up with my friends a bit later, and they were still somewhat tripping. They weren't really hallucinating, but rather they were on the come down, and what they described to me was the exact same feeling I had when I was on 2CI. I walked around with them for a good deal of time and was pretty much quiet. I couldn't stop thinking about the night. It was probably the scariest experience of my life. After a while, I didn't really feel hungry, but I felt like it would be a good idea to eat something. So I went and got some tacos with 2 of my friends. I finished them, and it felt good to finally get something into my stomach. We ended up talking about what had happened to me earlier that night, and one of my friends came up with a conclusion that I had a panic attack. He began describing the symptoms of a panic attack, and I felt as if I was going to throw up. I got really hot and sweaty instantly, and I got up to go to the bathroom. I was about halfway there, and then the next second I was on the floor. I didn't remember falling or anything, and when I opened my eyes, I felt fine. I didn't really have to throw up anymore. I just felt really embarrassed, and I knew something was wrong. My friend went and got his car and drove me back to the dorm, and I went straight to bed, passed out. When I woke up the next day, I felt fine. I decided that I would never do any drug like that again. I decided that I would never do shrooms again, but that coke, pot and drinking weren't really an issue. But one night, when I was smoking pot, at least a gram, I was sitting in my chair listening to music, and I began to get the feeling as if I was going to have another seizure. The music was overwhelming, and there were way too many people in the room, so I turned off the music and told everyone to leave, and I closed my eyes and tried to calm down. When I opened them, I was completely blind, but then slowly I started to get my vision back, and everything looked like a dark, fuzzy TV. Once everyone left, I just went to bed and calmed down for a while. When I got up for the first time, I went to the bathroom, but still wasn't feeling good, so I went back to bed, got up a little later, and I was fine. I wasn't high anymore. I tried smoking a few times after that, but no more than a hit each time, if even that. And every time I smoke, regardless of how much, I begin to get that feeling of the other night. I can't say whether it's the drugs or it's something in my mind, but I decided it was not best to smoke or do any drugs ever again.